I still remember her standing in the doorway with that smug little grin, suitcase in hand, like she was heading off to a weekend retreat and not wrecking 10 years of marriage in a single sentence. "I'm going to live with my AP," she said like it was no big deal. "But it's only temporary. I'll be back. Don't worry." My mouth went dry. AP? I'd never heard her say that before. I didn't even know what it meant until she spelled it out. "Affair partner," she clarified, eyes rolling like I was some idiot. "You don't have to be so dramatic, Jason." I stood there, frozen, towel still slung around my neck. I had just come back from my usual morning jog, still dripping with sweat, thinking I'd surprise her with coffee and her favorite breakfast wrap. That's the kind of guy I was, loyal, predictable, dependable. She had just finished packing. Her nails were freshly done, her lipstick too red for morning. And the tight jeans? She hadn't worn those in years. Not for me, anyway. "You're leaving me to move in with the guy you've been screwing around with?" I asked, just to hear how insane it sounded out loud. "It's not that simple," she said, shrugging. "You've been distant. Boring. You don't even look at me anymore." Shatters tea. I stared at her, trying to piece together what the hell had gone wrong. Madison, my wife, my partner, the woman I built a life with, was walking out on me for a guy who didn't even have the balls to show up and pick her up himself. "You're not serious," I muttered. "This is a joke, right?" She sighed. "You're always so dramatic, Jason. I just need time to think. He makes me feel alive." I clenched my fist to stop myself from putting one through the damn wall. This wasn't just betrayal, it was betrayal with AF ****ing smile. "Who is he?" I asked. "Someone from work?" Her eyes sparkled with something I hadn't seen in years' excitement. "His name's Trevor. We met at the gym. He's younger. Funnier. He doesn't make me feel like I'm fading away." I wanted to scream. I wanted to grab that suitcase and hurl it out the window. Instead, I just stood there, looking at the woman I no longer recognized. "You're a goddamn coward," I said, my voice shaking. "Running away instead of fixing what's broken." She rolled her eyes. "You always make everything about you." And with that, she walked out. No goodbye. No apology. Just a perfume-scented hurricane tearing through the remains of my marriage. I didn't chase her. I couldn't. My legs wouldn't move. All I could do was collapse onto the couch, heart pounding like I'd just run a marathon. She said she'd be back. But what does back even mean after something like that? How do you come back from betrayal that cuts so deep it redefines your sense of self? I sat in silence, the echo of her heels on the stairs still ringing in my ears. That morning, I had a wife. By 9:12 a.m., I had a stranger. I didn't cry. Not yet. That would come later, when the numbness faded and the rage took over. But I made a promise to myself right then and there. This wouldn't end with me broken. This wouldn't end with her winning. You don't just walk out on Jason Brooks and come back like nothing happened. Not this time. Not ever. The next morning, I woke up thinking maybe it was all a dream. That maybe Madison would be lying next to me, snoring lightly like she used to when she was too tired to care how she looked. But the bed was cold. Empty. Her pillow untouched. I sat up slowly, the weight of reality pressing down on me like a cinder block on my chest. The apartment was too quiet. Her toothbrush was gone. So was her perfume bottle, the one I bought her for our anniversary last year. I opened the closet and found empty hangers swinging like mocking little ghosts. Her side was gutted. But the most insulting thing? She left her wedding dress. Just hanging there, plastic still zipped over it, like a dead relic in a museum exhibit titled, "This Used to Be Love." I went into autopilot. Made coffee. Burnt the eggs. Stared at the wall while the TV played a morning show I didn't even register. The anchor was smiling. I wanted to throw something at the screen. At 11:34 a.m., I got the first text. "Maddie, hey, just checking in. Hope you're okay. I'll be by to grab a few more things later. Don't make it weird. Don't make it weird." She actually had the audacity. I didn't respond. Not then. Instead, I did something I hadn't done in months. I checked her iPad. She used to leave it on the coffee table, open and sync to her phone. Always said she had nothing to hide. It took 30 seconds to confirm that was a lie. Messages with Trevor. Hundreds of them. Pictures. Dirty jokes. Plans. Secrets. Nicknames. She called him Wolf, for Christ's sake. I didn't even get a nickname. Just Jason. And then I saw the video. A little grainy, filmed at a hotel. Her hair a mess. Her voice breathy, giggling. And Trevor, shirtless, pulling her into him like she belonged there. My stomach dropped. I didn't even watch the whole thing. I couldn't. My hands were shaking, my chest tightening with a rage I hadn't felt since my dad walked out on us when I was a kid. This wasn't just betrayal. This was humiliation. She wasn't hiding it. She was recording it, keeping it, maybe showing it. I slammed the iPad down, breaking the screen. Glass scattered across the floor like my nerves. I paced for a while, heart racing. I knew I needed air, but instead, I sat on the edge of the bed and tried to breathe. That night, she showed up. Hair done. Full face of makeup. Like she was going to brunch, not walking into the wreckage she created. "Hey," she said casually, like we were roommates. "I'm just grabbing my blender and a few sweaters." I didn't answer. Just watched her move around like she still belonged here. "You saw the texts, didn't you?" she finally said, not even guilty, just slightly annoyed. "I saw everything," I replied, my voice low. She shrugged. "Well, you weren't exactly giving me what I needed." "What the hell does that mean?" "It means," she said, turning to face me, arms crossed under her chest like she was the one under attack, "you stopped being fun. You worked too much. You stopped making me feel wanted. You're my wife. I gave you everything. I sacrificed for us." "No," she said, a sneer curling her lip. "You sacrificed for your job. You were always tired. Always distracted. Trevor actually listens. He makes me laugh. He makes me feel like a woman." I stepped back. That last line hit harder than anything. Not because it was true, but because it was cruelly designed to hurt. She picked up her things without another word, like I was some footnote in her story. Like 10 years of memories meant less than a 6-month fling with a gym rat named Trevor. Before she walked out the door, she turned around and smirked. "I told you, it's only temporary. I'll be back once I've figured things out. Don't do anything stupid, Jason." And just like that, she was gone again. This time, I didn't freeze. I didn't collapse. I started planning. The next few days blurred together. I wasn't eating. I wasn't sleeping. I was just existing. Watching the ceiling. Listening to the fridge hum. Waiting for the rage to take over again because it was the only thing that made me feel alive. I started replaying every moment. Every sign I'd ignored. The extra showers. The sudden interest in yoga. The night she said she was just going out with Rachel. Rachel, who I'd later find out had moved to Chicago 3 months ago. She wasn't even trying to cover her tracks. That's what burned the most. The carelessness. Like she knew I'd never look. Like I was so harmless she could F***K around in plain sight. On Thursday, I finally snapped. I drove to the gym. Her gym. I'd never been inside before. She always insisted it was her space. Funny how her space turned out to be a breeding ground for betrayal. The second I walked in, I saw him. Trevor. Tank top. Tattoos. That douchebag backwards cap. He was laughing with the front desk girl like he owned the place. Like he hadn't ripped a family apart. He didn't see me at first. I watched him. Studied the way he moved, cocky and too sure of himself. I'd seen his face in those photos, in that damn video, but in person, it was worse. I walked up to him, calm on the outside, storming inside. "You Trevor?" I asked. He turned, still smirking. "Who's asking?" "Jason Brooks." His face changed. Just a flicker. But I caught it. Recognition. A hint of guilt. "Oh," he said. "Hey man, listen, I didn't know she was married when..." I punched him. Hard. Right in the mouth. He stumbled back, hit the weight rack. The front desk girl screamed. People were shouting, but I didn't hear them. I only saw him. His blood. His smug little smirk wiped clean. Security dragged me out. Cops showed up, but I didn't care. I wasn't even charged, they just wanted me to cool off. Trevor didn't press charges. Probably because he knew he deserved it. That night, Madison texted me again. "Maddie, I heard what happened. That was childish, Jason. You embarrassed yourself. This is why I needed space. Maddie, you're spiraling. You need help." I didn't respond. I just stared at the screen, wondering how someone could be this detached, this empty. She didn't care that she ruined me. She didn't care about anything but herself and her pathetic boy toy. A week later, she came back. Not to stay, just to pick up more crap. She walked in like she still had the right. Still had the authority. She looked around and wrinkled her nose. "You haven't cleaned," she said. "I've been busy," I muttered, arms crossed. She started going through the kitchen, grabbing spices and wine glasses. Then she went to the bedroom. That's when I followed. "Do you love him?" I asked from the doorway. She paused, holding her old robe in her arms. "What does it matter?" "It matters to me." She sighed. "I don't know. Maybe." He makes me feel like I'm not invisible. You were never invisible, I said. I saw you. Every damn day. No, Jason, she snapped. You saw the idea of me. The version of me that made sense to you. Not the real me. I stepped closer. And the real you is what? A liar? A cheater? Someone who walks out and expects to just walk back in. I told you it's temporary. She actually said that again. Like I was a hotel reservation she could cancel and rebook at her convenience. You don't get to decide that, I said, voice low. You don't get to shatter me and then ask me to wait while you play house with a personal trainer. She looked at me, really looked at me, for the first time in weeks. You're angry. No sh*t. But you still love me, she said, a cruel little smile on her lips. You wouldn't be this hurt if you didn't. She turned to leave. Don't count on me being here when you come back, I said. She stopped in the hallway, half-turned. We'll see, she said. And then she was gone. Again. This time, I started making real plans. I stayed up that night going through everything we ever shared, wedding photos, anniversary cards, old text threads where she used to send me good luck before meetings or just say, I miss you. It all felt like watching someone else's life. Some stranger's perfect little love story that got hijacked by a woman who lost her damn mind. I opened my laptop and started pulling up old bank statements. Something had been nagging at me ever since she left. Something more than the affair. She'd been spending money too much. Luxury dinners, hotel bookings, Uber rides at 3 a.m. Not for me. Never for me. Then I found the Venmo history. She sent him money. Trevor. 1,000 here, 300 there. Massage gun. New shoes. Weekend fuel. Fuel? She was financing the affair. Supporting her boy toy with my money. While I was working overtime, skipping lunches, grinding to build us a life, she was Venmo-ing this clown so he could feel like a man. I stared at the screen until my vision blurred. My hands were trembling. This wasn't love. It wasn't even lust. It was parasitic. I called her. First time I'd done it since she left. She didn't answer. So I left a message. I'm canceling every card in your name. Don't come crying to me when you can't pay for your little adventures. Oh, and the apartment lease? I'm removing you. You don't live here anymore. I hung up. It felt cold, but clean, like finally cutting off a tumor. She texted back a few minutes later. Maddie, wow, petty much? I told you it's not forever. Why are you acting like a psycho? She still thought she had power over me, but she didn't know I'd already met with a lawyer, and that I was done playing the role of the heartbroken husband waiting by the window like some cliché movie character. I started documenting everything, every transaction, every message, every missed call. I wanted to be ready, not just for the divorce, but for the war. The next day, she showed up, unannounced. Again, I didn't open the door, just looked through the peephole and watched her knock like she was some confused delivery girl. Jason, come on, she yelled. Open up. I just want to talk. You want to talk? I said through the door. Go talk to Trevor. Silence. You're being ridiculous, she snapped. You said you loved me. I loved a version of you that doesn't exist anymore. Jason, open the ****ing door. I didn't. I watched her stomp down the hallway, mumbling curses under her breath. She didn't even look back. I guess she knew the spell was breaking. Later that night, I got a message from someone I didn't expect. Rachel, her old best friend. The one she used to name drop whenever she needed an excuse. Rachel, hey, this is random, but Maddie's been dragging my name through the mud. I haven't seen her in months. I think you deserve to know that. We started talking. Turns out Maddie had been lying to everyone. She said I was controlling, that I never let her go out, that I cheated first. She even told Trevor I was abusive, that she was escaping some kind of nightmare. I laughed. The irony was disgusting. I told Rachel everything. Sent her screenshots. Even the Venmo receipts. Rachel was stunned. Furious. She told me you hit her, she wrote. No. Never. I don't even raise my voice unless I'm driving, I replied. That was the night I decided to burn the bridge completely. I posted a single photo on Instagram. Just one. Her suitcase sitting by the door, with the caption, temporary, she said. But some things don't grow back. She saw it. Liked it. Didn't say a word. But a few hours later, Trevor messaged me. Trevor, dude, what the hell did you tell her friends? She's freaking out. I didn't respond. Not to him. Because now it was her turn to feel the weight of lies collapsing. I wasn't the victim anymore. I was the storm she never saw coming. 2 days later, she came back again. Not to talk. Not to apologize. Just to pick a fight. She let herself in with the spare key I forgot to deactivate. I was sitting on the couch, laptop open, going over some final paperwork with the lawyer. She walked in like she owned the place, like nothing had changed. "I need my passport," she said, not even looking at me. "And the black heels I left in the closet." "No," I said, calmly. "You need to leave." She froze, then turned to look at me. "Excuse me. You're not welcome here anymore, Madison. This isn't your home. You can't be serious." I stood up, walked over, took the key out of her hand and tossed it into the drawer. Then I pointed at the door. "Go get a hotel. Or stay at Trevor's." "Oh wait, he kicked you out, didn't he?" Her face twisted. Just for a second. Then she caught herself and rolled her eyes. "Jesus, Jason. You're acting like a child. Trevor and I are just figuring things out." I laughed. "You moved in with your affair partner, said it was temporary, blew up our marriage, and now you're shocked that he doesn't want to play house with a compulsive liar?" She stepped closer, arms crossed. "You think you're some kind of saint? You were never present. You never listened to me. I tried to tell you I was unhappy, and you did that by crawling into another man's bed? At least he made me feel wanted." "No," I said, voice sharper now. "He made you feel like a prize. And you loved it. You loved the attention, the drama, the secrecy. You loved being the villain. You think I wanted this? You planned this. You lied for months. You drained our money. You filmed yourself with him and left the evidence like trophies. So yeah, I think you wanted this." For a second, I saw something flicker in her eyes. Not regret. Not guilt. Just disappointment. That she couldn't twist the narrative anymore. "You were never going to leave him, were you?" I asked. "You just thought I'd wait. That I'd sit here like a backup plan. I didn't think you'd stop loving me." That hit different. Because I didn't. Not at first. I clung to the memory of her, the woman I married, the best friend I thought I had. But now, all I saw was someone I didn't recognize. Someone cruel. Selfish. Rotten all the way through. "I didn't stop loving you," I said. "I stopped recognizing you." She didn't reply. Just stood there, trying to find a crack to wedge herself into. But I was done giving her space to twist me up. "You can take your heels. Nothing else. And my passport? It'll be at my lawyer's office. He'll give it to you during the divorce meeting." Her eyes narrowed. "So that's it? You're just throwing this away?" "You threw it away the second you said, 'I'll be back. Don't worry. You don't get to come back from that.'" She stared at me for a long moment, then finally walked down the hall, grabbed her shoes, and left without another word. This time, I deadbolt the door. Then changed the locks the next morning. Later that week, I got an email from Trevor. "Trevor, look, man. I didn't know she was like this. She told me you were abusive, controlling, that she had to sneak around for her own safety." I didn't respond. He wasn't worth it. But it made one thing very clear: she wasn't just a liar. She was a manipulator. She burned every bridge behind her and still thought she could walk back across ashes. But I was already rebuilding. New bank account. New locks. New number. And for the first time in months, I slept through the night. A week after I changed the locks, I got a call from her mother, Linda. I hadn't spoken to Linda in months. Last time we saw each other was Thanksgiving, and even then she barely looked up from her phone unless it was to praise Madison for something shallow, like her glow or her taste in boots. That woman always had a blind spot the size of Texas when it came to her daughter. "Jason," she said, her voice tense, like she'd just eaten something sour. "Can we talk?" "I'm listening. Maddie's going through a lot right now." I couldn't help but laugh. "Are you serious?" "She's hurting." She didn't expect things to unravel this way. She didn't expect consequences. Linda. That's the difference. She paused for a moment, then sighed, like she was preparing for a speech she didn't want to give. "She's staying with me now. Trevor broke up with her." "Of course he did. I told her from the beginning he was a phase," Linda added. "But you know Maddie, headstrong." "Headstrong?" I snapped. "She lied to everyone, trashed our marriage, and when I didn't roll over and beg her to stay, she played the victim. That's not headstrong. That's calculated." "Jason, I'm not excusing her behavior. She made a mistake. People do that." "No. People forget to buy milk. People run late to work." Madison blew up a decade of marriage for a guy with abs and zero commitment. She went quiet. I could hear her breathing, like she was trying to figure out how far she could push without getting cut off. "She says she wants to fix things. She said she'd be back," I muttered. Like this was a damn sabbatical. She's asking if you'll meet her. Just to talk. I almost said no. Almost. But something in me needed it. Closure. Or maybe I just wanted to see her try and lie one more time to my face. Tell her she's got 10 minutes, I said. At the cafe on Jefferson. Noon tomorrow. I got there early. Ordered black coffee. Sat facing the door. She walked in 5 minutes late. No makeup. Hair pulled back in a way I hadn't seen in years. She looked tired. Smaller. Like the weight of her own chaos was finally pressing down on her. Hey, she said, sliding into the seat across from me. I said nothing. She glanced around like she expected a different version of me. Maybe one still clinging, still begging. I miss you, she said, barely above a whisper. Why? She looked confused. Because I don't know. I thought I'd be happier. With him. I raised an eyebrow. And he was fun. At first. But he never really saw me. Not the way you did. You mean he didn't pay your rent or clean up after your messes? She flinched. That's not fair. No. What's not fair is that I spent years being your safety net while you searched for more exciting options. You didn't miss me. You missed the version of you that existed when I was still in your corner. She looked away, blinking fast. I made mistakes. You made choices. Repeatedly. She swallowed hard. I know I don't deserve forgiveness. But I hoped maybe, after some time, no. It came out sharper than I intended. But I didn't walk it back. I'm not waiting for you. I'm not a checkpoint you return to when the thrill wears off. I'm done being your plan B. She nodded, but I saw it. The flicker of rage behind her eyes. The wounded ego. I never meant to hurt you, she said. But you did. And the worst part? You knew you would. She didn't finish her coffee. She stood up, adjusted her coat, and looked at me one last time. I hope someday you see that I loved you, she said. And I just stared at her. Because the truth is, whatever that was, it wasn't love. It was control, comfort, ego, selfishness, but never love. After she left, I sat there another 10 minutes, just breathing, feeling, letting it settle. That chapter was closed, burned, and I wasn't mourning it anymore. I was free. The weeks that followed felt like waking up from a coma I never realized I was in. There were no more random texts, no more guilt trips, no late-night calls or doorbell ambushes. Just silence. And silence, for the first time in months, felt like peace. I started rebuilding my routines. Mornings weren't haunted anymore. I actually enjoyed making breakfast again. Eggs didn't burn. Coffee didn't taste like ash. I'd go for a run without thinking about coming home to a war zone. But the emotional bruises? They stayed. Quiet reminders. Every time I passed a place we used to love. Every time I saw a couple laughing together. Every time I laid down in that bed that still had a dent on her side. Grief wasn't always loud. Sometimes, it was just the sound of one plate on the table instead of two. I started therapy. Yeah, I never thought I'd be that guy, sitting on a couch, dissecting his trauma. But it helped. Helped me realize I'd spent years in a relationship where I was the foundation, and she was the wrecking ball. Madison didn't just cheat. She dismantled me piece by piece, and smiled while doing it. She was never the type to swing a fist. No, she preferred slow cuts. Disinterest disguised as tiredness. Distance passed off as independence. And lies wrapped in silk-soft apologies. My therapist, her name was Dana, said something that hit me like a freight train. She never planned to stay. She planned to return, if the new option didn't work out. I remember sitting there, numb, because it was true. Madison didn't love me. She loved the safety I gave her. The platform. The backup plan. And I wasn't that anymore. It took me time, but I stopped blaming myself. I stopped replaying arguments, wondering what I could have said differently. I stopped asking questions like, was I enough? Or what if I just made more time? Because none of that would have stopped her. She was gone long before she packed that suitcase. The Madison I loved? She checked out months before. What stayed behind was a mask. One day, out of nowhere, Rachel texted me again. Rachel, just a heads up, Madison's telling people you abused her. I shut it down. Thought you should know. I didn't even get angry. I was just done. Done playing defense. Done trying to protect my image in circles that never gave a damn about the truth. So I made a decision. I wrote a letter. Not for her. Not to send. Just for me. I wrote out everything I wanted to say. Every moment she made me feel small. Every lie. Every moment she stole and dressed in falsehoods. I wrote it all. Poured it out. Then I deleted it. Because she didn't deserve my final words. She didn't earn my closure. that belonged to me. Months passed. Seasons changed. One day I ran into someone at the bookstore, Emily, a woman I barely remembered from college. We talked, laughed. Nothing romantic. Not yet. Just light. Real. For the first time, I felt a spark that didn't come with the fear of betrayal hiding behind it. Madison did what she did. She lied. She left. She tried to come back, not because she regretted hurting me, but because she regretted losing control. But she lost. I rebuilt. And if there's one thing I learned from all of it, it's this. Never let someone treat your love like a layover. You're not a pit stop. You're not a maybe. You're a final destination or nothing. If someone says, "I'll be back," don't worry, while running into another man's arms. Lock the damn door behind them. And never look back. Some endings come with explosions. Mine came with silence. A few months later, I got a final letter from her lawyer. The divorce was finalized. No drama, no courtroom theatrics, just a dull manila envelope with my name on it and a quiet stamp that said this is over. No apology. No goodbye. Just her signature on a dotted line. I stared at it for a long time. Not because I was sad, but because that single piece of paper represented the end of a version of myself I no longer needed to carry. I folded it up, slid it into a drawer I rarely opened, and poured myself a glass of scotch. Sat by the window. Let the evening breeze wash over me like it knew what I'd survived. I didn't hate her anymore. That would have meant she still held space in my heart. She didn't. Not after everything. What I felt was freedom. The kind that comes after walking barefoot through fire and realizing your skin still heals. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need her to regret it. I didn't need closure in the form of guilt or confession. The only thing I needed was distance, and I had it now. In miles. In months. In memories I stopped revisiting. She went on with her life, last I heard. Another boyfriend. Another move. Probably another temporary soulmate, waiting to be discarded when things got too real. But me? I got something she never will. Clarity. Peace. A life that doesn't revolve around walking on eggshells or questioning if I'm enough. If you're reading this, maybe you're in the middle of your own storm. Maybe someone's telling you, "I'll be back." Don't worry. Don't believe it. Real love doesn't leave to go figure things out in someone else's bed. Real love doesn't need a backup plan. Real love stands, fights, heals, and grows. So if she leaves, let her go. If she lies, burn the bridge. And if she ever dares to come back, looking for the version of you she thought would always be waiting, let her find a locked door and a better man on the other side.